Okay, so let's start with core Java.
Mhm.
Can you tell me the rules for overloading?
Yeah, overloading. Yeah. So this is, I mean, overloading is happening only in single class where the single method is having multiple behaviors, right? Uh, let's say you have one sum method. So the signature of sum method is public, and you'll be returning integer of. You want me to explain the syntax also, right?
No syntax, just rules.
Okay, so your return type should be the uh, your public accessifier, and return type should be the same, and you will have the method name as same, and your methods argument can be differ. It can be differ. Let's say in one argument, in one first method, you will have string. Sorry, you will have string or number or anything, only single parameter, and in second overloaded method you will have two parameters which will be performing the same, but just that the input is different. I mean, input parameter will be vary.
Okay. Okay, suppose you have one method.
Mm-hmm.
Void my method, parameter is string s.
Mm-hmm.
Another method void my method, parameter is object o.
Mm-hmm.
When I call this method by passing parameter my method null,
Mm-hmm.
which method will get executed?
See, both are in method we have different type of classes, but when we are passing the default value to my method, so there will have ambiguity that which class we need to pass, which method we need to invoke. So it will have conflicts that we need to call string, I mean method with string or method with object, because both of the classes default value is null.
Actually, I didn't get your answer. Which method will get executed? I'm asking.
Yeah, so it will. I don't think it will execute any of method, because you're passing the null value, and null value is the default value of both of the classes. For string and object, both is holding the default value as null. So it will have conflicts. I mean, ambiguity.
Ambiguity, okay. But as per my opinion, there is no ambiguity.
Um, Okay, then it will look for hierarchy one, Sagar. I mean, it will check the hierarchy. So it will call I'm not sure whether it will call top hierarchy or bottom, but it will look for the hierarchy now. I think it will call string one. I'm not sure, but it will call string one, a method which will have parameter as string.
Okay. What is a parent class of integer class?
Integer class wrapper, right? So the parent class of integer is number, and the
Okay.
number parent class is object.
What is a difference between integer and atomic integer?
Integer and atomic integer, yes. So I mean, in multi-threading system, each of the threads has is its own space, right? So in case of integer, let's say two thread are running parallelly, so both thread will have their own memory, and when we are changing the values in integer, so that will be specific to only single thread, but in atomic integer the value will be shared across the multiple threads. It is a common memory area which will be which is being used by multiple threads. So if you are updating the value in atomic integer, let's say value in I, so that I will be shared across the multiple threads, so other thread will also able to get the updated value.
Okay, so what is the benefit of that atomic integer?
Yeah, so benefit of atomic and integer. I mean, we have some problems when when multiple thread are accessing, updating or changing the value of some fields at the same time. So there will have data inconsistency, that read and write problem, right? When one thread is trying to I mean both thread has added some I mean read the value at the same time, but the first thread is has updated the value, and but the second thread which has already readed the value, it does not get, I mean the second thread does not get the updated value. So I mean it should be ideally updated because the operation has done by the first thread, and they have added, first thread has added some of the value in the current field. So I mean it will have data inconsistency. So with atomic integer or atomicity, we have, I mean that implementation resolving that issue, that data inconsistency. So when the thread 1 is updating the value, and that will be accessible by thread 2 also.
Okay. What is an immutability?
Immutability, once the thread is, I mean so in Java, once the thread is created, so the value of those thread won't be changed. And if you're trying to change the value of that thread, and it will create a new object in the in the SCP, static constant pool, and yeah. So which will, I mean when we are again creating a new object, so it will look into the SCP area whether the already I mean object with the same name is already exist in the static constant pool or not. If it is exist, it will point to the same reference. I mean the reference will point to the same object, else it will create a new object in the static constant pool.
Okay. Okay. Uh, what is an enum?
Enum is just like a data type. I mean it has the it has a final constants which value does not change.
Any real world scenario can you provide where we can use a enum?
Yes. So let's say we have person class, and we need to use, we have a set of constants, like we have males and females, right? So we can create a one enums which has male and female values. So we can use those.
Okay. So suppose you have one list, array list.
Mm-hmm.
You have to convert that array list to a linked list.
You have to convert array list into
Linked list.
linker list. Okay.
How to convert that?
Yeah, I mean, okay. So you can use Stream API in this case. You can create a stream of those those numbers, and you can collect those numbers as a list and assign it to another variable. That is as simple.
There is much more simpler way actually available than this.
Oh, so you can. There's another way that you can do arrays as list, and you can pass those numbers, and it will create list for you.
Another way, like most efficient way, I must. Any other way?
Another way, okay.
Like any default methods we have to convert array list to linked list. Like Java by default might have provided the conversion methods or something like that.
Yes, it
to
has.
convert.
Yeah, it has that we can convert one. I mean, from one collection to another collection, but I'm not able to recall the syntax of it. Yes, but we have that mechanism. Even we can convert list into set, and set. I mean, has set into a linker list. I mean, we have that mechanism in Java 8.
Okay. Suppose you have a set.
Mm-hmm.
Whenever you add a element into a set, what is the return type of add method?
Okay, return type of add method will be, I think it will be, okay, just a second. When you're adding, so we are saying set dot. Okay, I don't think, I mean, it might be Boolean. No, it should be void. I have not explored it, but it should be void.
Okay. Okay. So can you explain me hash code and equals method in detail?
Yeah, so yeah, the hash code and equals has a contract when we are adding a custom object into a hash map as a key. So in that case, this hash code and equals comes into picture. So let's say when we are creating two object, let's say we have person class, and when we are creating object of person passing same ID and same name. That is a two field in person, and we are creating two object, and both of object has the same ID and name. So and when we are trying to add those both of the object into hash map, so as a key, so internally it will be executing hash map and equals. So first it will check whether the reference of both of the object is equal or not. If it is not equal, or if it is different, then it will if it is equal, then it will be checking for the equals, whether the content of those both of the methods are equal or not. If it is if the hash code is equal, then it will definitely the values in it will be equal. But if it is hash code is not hash code is equal, but hash code is not equal, but we will be checking whether equals method, we will be executing equal method and checking whether content of it is equal or not. So it may equal or not. So based on that, if it is equal, it will be creating a new it will be creating a linked list inside bucket and adding into that. If it is not equal, only hash code is equal. If it is both content and hash code is equal, it will be replacing the value in bucket. But if only hash code is equal but value is not equal, it will be adding that element into linked list which is there in the bucket. We have buckets in hash map, right? So each of the bucket is containing a linked list. So it will be appending the new value, new object into next to an existing object, and the linked list node will be pointing to that newly inserted object.
Okay. Can you share your screen and we'll do some coding challenge?
Sure, yeah. Is that visible now?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. So create a list of numbers.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Okay.
And that numbers it will be a duplicate numbers also.
Okay.
Okay. And you have to remove the duplicates.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Add only even numbers after that, and print the result.
Okay.
And all this you have to do in a string.
Okay, so your the requirement is we will be
List
adding
of numbers.
list of numbers. Yeah.
Maybe it will be duplicate numbers. Okay, any number.
Okay.
You have to remove duplicate.
Mm-hmm.
Then you have to extract even numbers, and you have to sum all the even numbers.
Okay, and we have to extract.
Sum all the even numbers, not extract. Sum all the even numbers.
Okay.
Do all this in a stream.
Yeah. Okay. So what I have done initially, I have created a stream of these numbers, and this distinct function will provide the unique. It will remove the duplicates and provide the only unique numbers. Then I am filtering out the number which is even. We have here. We can use reference variable integer dot we have no. Okay, so we have filtered out these numbers. I'm calculating the even number, whatever number is identified as even, so that number we will be adding in the reduce, which is basically used to flatten which is used to calculate the average of aggregation of the numbers, aggregation of any numbers. So what I'm doing, I'm aggregating these numbers and again printing those.
Okay. Okay. Okay, fine. One second.